wanting to master the skill of painting water with watercolour for at least a couple of years now. I even took a few tutorials to understand some aspects of the process, but I feel like I still haven't cracked the code. Will I nail it? I have surely learned a thing or two through trial and error, and I will share those game changers with you today. By the way, I'm Fiona De Pinto. This is Drawings in a Drawer, on which I share my journey with this amazing online community. That's you, by the way. So if you'd like to hop on, click the notification bell below this video so YouTube will let you know every time my weekly video is up. And now let's dive into today's topic. And I'll start off by saying that painting water in watercolour is definitely good brushstroke practice, as the sea and lakes. All the bodies of water in nature have ripples and reflections of all sorts in them. It's not easy to paint water in watercolour, which means you're free to walk into this experiment or study without the frustration or fear of making mistakes, because as always, it was from my mistakes that I learned the most valuable lessons. So let's make them together. It's hard to break down water into basic shapes like we do for solid objects, so observation is the best tool we have, so let's use it. Noticing what colours are in the water and trying to emulate the movement of the water or direction of the waves, if there are any, with your brushstroke. In the case of waves, you will want the brushstrokes to be thicker and wider apart, closer to the shore area in the forefront. This will give the viewer a sense of depth. Also, making the waves and ripples in the forefront darker will help with depth too. Start off wet and wet, this way you can play around with wet paint for a while and get a feel of your brush strokes as their effects disappear into your wet paper. This can be a form of warm-up to get looser with your wrist and more confident as you build up to paint mixtures which contain less water in them, so are slightly thicker, which will tend to fade less and less the drier the paper gets. You will see by the end of this video I will have found a new way to get those highlights in. I believe that my first lesson learnt was that less is more. I was clearly trying to find shapes and forms, I realised looking back on this footage, and that is a dangerous path because you can get sharp swirls in water, but keeping them looking natural is key, and I think mine look a little too stiff. Lesson number 2, my first painting 3/4 into the process would have looked fantastic as a landscape, like the Highlands of Scotland when they turn purple in the summer, so that's definitely something I'm going to be trying out soon. Something else I have learned through a mistake, please use simple reference photos to start off with. Mine were very Studio Ghibli-like waterscapes, and I don't think that was a very good idea, as it's really going in the deep end. And if you are just learning now, like me, how to paint water with watercolour, then pick a simple reference photo of the sea or a lake, or even better, paint it live so that you have an image in movement that will pin you down less and make you looser automatically. Forget what you're looking at, just be in a state of observation, which is also a beautiful grounding technique if you're feeling anxious or stressed out. Mind me not while I paint this watery portrait, and allow me to share with you that if you want more tutorials like this, but even more to join a creative online art community with people from all over the world to draw and paint live together, then you will find the information on how to do that in the description box below this video. We cannot wait to welcome you, and you will not want to leave. Quite like painting skin, look for unexpected colours in water. Remember, water is transparent, not just blue or green. A lot of it is reflection, and I've noticed browns and purples and sepias while I was painting. Also, when there's a wave, there's a darker shadow just below that white crest. Getting that in there will make your waves look more realistic. I definitely recommend using your clean damp brush to lift out lighter areas in the water surface. This is really an excellent technique to get those lighter patches where the light shines on the water. Start watery, and as always, reduce the amount of water gradually as you build up value and intensity, and your paint will stop moving around so freely till you get to the final details. Brushstroke work. You remember I told you in the beginning, painting water in watercolour is a lot about brushstrokes. Bold, confident ones for rough oceans, finer, closer ones for ripples, wet brushstrokes and also dry brushstrokes that will create that craggy, organic look as the paper's texture seeps through. Reflections in the water from the life above, trees, plants, boats, houses can easily be created with a wet paintbrush on your now dry surface by creating a simple zigzag line right below it. Those reflections are usually darker than the object that's casting the shadow, and they help ground the element into its reality within the painting. But the biggest game changer of all was scratching out my highlights with a scissor. You just drag it along and get that organic scrape that can resemble both the crest of a wave, but also the glittery light of the sun sparkling on the water's surface. I think that was the best hack I discovered from this exploration. That is all from me for today. Thank you so much for being here. leave something in the comments. I love to read them, and I will see you all next Sunday. Bye.